I tell you this how the Reebok interview happened. It was a guy I follow on Instagram. He posted on Instagram that he's like, I just interviewed Mr. Foster, and he tagged him in it. And I was just in my mind, I was just thinking, well, he ain't no better than me. Let me ask him too. So I reached out. You can add this on to the end, man. But yeah, man, it's like you can easily record so many episodes and just release them. Yeah. And I think that's probably how a lot of people get into those top charts because they putting out so much content. But for me, man, I can't really soak in all this information if you doing 4 interviews in a day and these people somebody telling you one thing and then you got to hear another one like right after that. Like you can't retain all of it just like that.
Even if you're doing one interview, it's gonna be things that you don't remember like right after the interview until you go back and watch it and be like, oh, he did say that. But I mean, that's the way our attention span works. Like you said, it's no way that you can shoot 4 episodes in a day and soak it all in until you have to go. You have to go back and rewatch stuff.
Man, I think the most I ever recorded in one day, I think I might have did no more than 3 in one day. But, man, I was just so tired after that, man, because it take a lot of, especially when you got to take all these notes and prepare for everybody, man, that's a lot. And then just so many people. So I couldn't even imagine doing like 10 or 15 episodes in a week and then you just drop them. It's too much, man. It's too much information. And then
but if you got it, we also are thinking about it from a standpoint of you doing it all by yourself. A lot of people have a team. And, it becomes easier when you got one person that's got the job of the camera, one person that's got, audio. It's easier but if you're doing it all by yourself, it's almost impossible.
Even if even if you got a team, though, my thing is, how are your viewers going to really be able to, retain all of it? Like, okay, dang, this episode came out today, then another one come out tomorrow. Like, it's just so much stuff. Like, I mean, they can go back and watch it, but is that really a way? I don't know. I know Joe Rogan do it. He got the biggest platform podcast in the world.
Crazy.
But it's just like, man, I don't know if I want to get to that point where I'm just constantly recording like 4 or 5 in a day, especially when you having like a real, genuine conversation. Yeah. Like, and I never like to rush my guests anyway. Like, I like to sit down, have a conversation, make sure they got their time to say what they got to say. Right. So I don't want to put them in like a little 2-hour slate and then we run over then somebody else, you know. So, man, I don't know. I know a lot of people, like, you can see a lot of content they just constantly dropping, but I don't know. For me, I don't want to do it that way. That's just how I am.
And I think it probably matters like what type of content it is. Some content can be consumed quickly. Some content where you're talking about 2-hour interviews, there's no way that you had that time in the day. Because, I mean, you talk about people got jobs, they got family time. You don't have time to put 3 hours into watching a podcast. Yeah, you might be able to get 30 minutes. Yeah.
That's a lot, man. Man, like Rogan, his interviews, all of them at least 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. And
people eating it up, though.
They eating it up. He got it. But, man, like, imagine, like, but he on another level, though. Like, that's like an anomaly, though. Right. Like, everybody ain't gonna reach that level. Yeah,
that's like a Michael Jordan or a Tom Brady.
That's different, man. But it's still a lot of content to like for people to consume, and then they might miss something else that you put out because you constantly just like dropping stuff over and over and over, man. Like, I mean, it can be done, right? But for me, man, like I like to, like I said, I ain't like I said, if you doing that, man, for me, I feel like I'll just burn myself all the way out, just doing constantly recording. And like I said, I want to appreciate like the people that I have on, hear these stories and stuff like that, man. But I don't know, it's just different ways that you can do it, man. But for me, I just like appreciating the people that come on and chop it up.
What do you do? How are you going about getting sponsorship?
Basically, I just a couple people I interviewed. Honestly, man, like the tour really, it was fun me putting up my own money. That's why I call it a self-investment tour. But like I would go to people that I interviewed and kind of built that relationship. Because I didn't want to be the person that walk into a business and just say, like going to let's say Midway.
Right.
I don't know them. They don't know me. I don't want to go in and say, hey, I got this going on. Can you give me $500 for a sponsorship? And they're like, I don't even know you. Like, how I know you gonna do what you really say, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's why I go in and build the relationships with people, man, and then ask them that way. That's how I do it. I mean, everybody else gonna have their own way of doing it. But you
also got a body of work at this point, though. It might be a little easier for you to do that now as opposed to when you first got started.
The hardest thing, though, man, like a lot of people that I interview, like most of my interviews ain't even around here, though. Like, I'm always on the road, like in other places, Charlotte, Atlanta. We go down to Charleston or Columbia, wherever we at. Like majority of them, man.
Is that on purpose or is that just how
I just reach out to people, man. Like I would see people share stories online. Like people sometimes people will do the homework for you. Like they might see something about supporting the business and they'll share it on their timeline. So I'll go read the article. I'm like, man, this is dope. Let me go find this person's email and reach out to them. Hey, this is what I'm doing. Would you be interested in coming on? Like I said, I got that body of work that I send them. Right. And sometimes when I pull up to these people, like, man, you've been putting in a lot of work. I'm like, yeah, I do this. Like, I take what I'm doing serious, man. So, yeah, like, sometimes, man, people will do the homework for you. Like, if they like something, they gonna, like I said, they gonna support it. They gonna share an article or something. So then I just go read it. If I like it, if it's something that makes sense, man, let me find this person's email and reach out to them some kind of way. Now, everybody don't get back to you. Some people might decline it, but, I mean, that's part of the game. Like,
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like Steve Harvey said, man, you can't. So what if they say no? It ain't like you had it anyway. Right. So if they say no,
you already had it no.
Yep. So you keep on going, man. But I just ask people too. Like, hey, I'm doing this. Would you be interested in sharing your story? And the only thing they can do is say no. Like that's how the I tell you this. That's how the Reebok interview happened. It was a guy I follow on Instagram. He posted on Instagram that he's like, I just interviewed Mr. Foster, and he tagged him in it. And I was just in my mind, I was just thinking, well, he ain't no better than me. Let me ask him too. So I reached out, sent the email, told him what I was doing, and his wife, she does all the emailing for him and stuff because he's the 85, 86. Yeah. So he on up there, so he don't really take care of that stuff. So she do all of it for him. And she's like, he would love to come on and share his story. So I'm just like, cool. That's dope. But that was like in March or April, but we didn't shoot the interview until September. Yeah, early September. It was going to be in August, but then they were traveling, so they pushed it back to like the beginning of September. So during that time, man, I was still doing other interviews and reading his book to get ready for that interview. But, man, it was crazy. I wasn't even nervous when we did it because I was like, we just been exchanging email. Okay, is this really true? So they said 12 o'clock noon, because they over in France, so their time was a little bit different. So it was 12 here and 4 over there. So I was like 12 o'clock noon, had my laptop set up. Next thing I know, he pop up on there. And what was so dope was what I respected was he was like, he knew my name. He was like, hey, Carlos, how you doing? Like, he already made me feel welcome just because he took time to just know my name. Like, even though he don't know me. But once he said that, man, I was just really like, I was just sitting there with I was just like, is this really going to happen? And when he popped up and said my name, I was like, it's over. Let's go. Let's get it. But, yeah, it was dope, man. But, yeah, reach out to people, man. Don't be afraid. If they say no, it is what it is. Right. But I think that's what'll stop a lot of people from going after their dreams,
definitely.
too.
Most definitely.
Because they don't want to hear the word no. Man, I can't even tell. I actually shared this a few months back. It was like, I shared a few emails where I was like, man, even though I'm achieving this, and this, and traveling wherever, like, I'm just like everybody else. I hear no just like everybody else. Man, I got so many emails where people rejected or may not respond, all type of stuff, man. But I just keep on going. Like, this is just actually extra motivation for me. Definitely. You tell me no, I'm like, all right, cool. Somebody want to get their story out. Somebody want to share their story of what they doing and how they got to where they are. And, man, I just keep on going, really. And that's like, I would never even thought like I would have been able to interview the founder of Reebok. Like
no,
that's like I said, that's like an goal. Yeah, that's like an anomaly.
Yeah.
Like this man, 80 plus years old, like he built this company from the ground up, him and his brother. And to be able to have a conversation with him, like I read his book, I read Nike, I read Made in America, Sam Walton book, but to actually be able to have a conversation with one of these people, like it's different. And that's why I said about, appreciating where you are, because man, after I wrapped up that interview, like I was saying not too long ago, like I was just like, what's next? Mm-hmm. Like I really had to sit down and like check myself. And I don't even think, I probably watched a little bit of, I had to look at it to like edit the interview, but it was just like, I was just like, what's next?
Yeah.
So it's like, I kept saying, man, I'm achieving so much stuff. Like, what's next? What's next? And I got in my mind like, man, I got to get this kind of money, or I got to get this interview, or I got to achieve this, and then I'm good. Right. So I kept like telling myself that, like, okay, you did this. Now what's next? What's next? Instead of like really appreciating, because that's an interview. That's a lifetime interview. Like that's something I can just look at forever. That's like, man, I really had this guy, Mr. Foster, on for an interview, and over an hour, over an hour long. And then what was so dope was at the end, I remember when we shot an interview in Atlanta, and I took a picture of one of his the Reebok pump shoe that D Brown wore in the slam dunk contest, and he had it autographed. So I actually recorded it when I shot an interview down in Atlanta, and I just saved it in my phone. So we was talking as we wrapped it up. I was like, you know what, Mr. Foster, I got one of your shoes in my phone. So I held it up to him, and he was just looking at it, smiling like, man. So it's like he saw something that he created. And even he said it was crazy. That's why the interview was crazy, man. Yeah. That's why I got to go back and look at it now, because I'm just thinking about the stuff. He was like, even when he was building Reebok, he didn't know how big it was. Right. People had to tell him like how big it was. That's why I said, like, appreciating where you are and being in that moment. He was like, it took time because he was so driven on building it to where it was, like, that he didn't see all this stuff. And people would come up to him and talk about Reebok, and he said, oh, like, we're really this big. And it was just so much into it, man. And the stuff that he went through, lost his brother. And he didn't really have a chance to grieve because he was so locked in on building his business. Right. Like, even after his brother died, he just kept on going. And he finally got to a point after his daughter died from cancer. That's when he kind of like stepped away. Right. And he didn't really understand how to grieve because he was so locked in on the moment. That's why I said, man, you just got to appreciate where you at. Because he had so much stuff, man. It's like, it's crazy. Like, even him, for what he is, the success that he had, like, he went through this kind of stuff too. So even us going through it right now, or other people watching this, man, like, you got to appreciate it, man. And understand, like, it's times where you may need to take a break. You may need to relax. But don't talk yourself out of being happy because you don't have the means or the money or whatever it is, or you haven't reached a certain level of success, or you don't have that interview. Right. Like, we can really get in our heads and talk ourselves out of being happy or whatever it is that we want because we haven't accomplished certain things, man. But yeah, man, I can do this all day long, man.
I appreciate you coming out. Like I said, it's a dope interview. I can't wait to watch it for one, and chop it up. I'll just like everybody else, I'll be sending you a couple clips.
Yeah, man, this is dope.
It's gonna drop Monday.
That's a quick turnaround right there.
Oh yeah. Well, the way I do it, it's not really hard to edit it because I don't have to sync anything up. Like I said, I'm using that as a webcam.
I got you.
So the whole thing is being saved. All I really do is just make sure that everything sounds good and, chop it up a little bit, send the clips out. Like I said, it'll be posted Monday.
Yeah. I think people going to get a lot from this interview, man. Like, this is dope, man. Like I said, this is my first time actually being able to, like, share my story. I don't know why people haven't really reached out to me. Like,
me either, because you've been doing it.
I've been doing it.
It makes sense to put you on the other side of that because I know that you got a lot to share.
Yeah, I got a lot to share, man. There's just some of the stuff, man. There's so much stuff, man, that I went through, man. Like, I was just telling you, like, a lot of it, man. But it's still, man, like, just to get everything out, man, we'll be here all night. But I just wanted to add value, man, and just tell people some of the things that you're going to go through in life, man. Keep on going. Even if you're in the podcast space, man.
Especially if you're in the podcast
man,
space.
It's tough. Like, this is, like, people might think this is easy. Like, it'll come more natural for some people. But, like, when you don't have, like a member with you, like a teammate with you that can ask questions as well, like, it's just you and one other person, one-on-one, just going back and forth, like, it take a lot of work, man. And especially, like I always say, too, your interview is gonna be whatever your guests make it. So like if they just really like shy and not really opening up, sharing their story, it's gonna be kind of hard to, like, you could try to pull some of this stuff out of them, but like if they don't really share a lot, then it's gonna be, it might be a short interview. But
I've had some of those.
I'm telling you, man, like sometimes people don't know like what to say when they get on camera. Like, people think this stuff easy, man.
Until you turn the camera on. Like, man, my first interview, when I decided to make it like episode 1, I had so many takes, probably like 30, 40 takes, just because I didn't even know how my delivery was going to be. Yeah. I go back, I look at it, like you said, didn't like it. And then, I was talking low. The lighting wasn't right. It was just so many things that you don't know about until you just do it.
That's why I say you got to get out there and do it, because you can plan, you can think you're gonna have the best backdrop, the lights, the cameras, everything, but until you get in front of that camera and you got to start talking, it's a different ball game, because there ain't no script. Nope. You got to go. I remember, man. Dominique might remember this. We when Trevor had one of his camps at Union, and we shot the interview in the gym, like in the weight room. Yeah. And I was talking, everything was going smooth, and then I got to a point where I lost track of what I wanted to say, and I was just like, dang, man, I messed up. But then Dominique cut it out. He cut that part out or whatever, but it happens, man. I was still early, and I'm still trying to go figure it out. But that kind of stuff gonna happen, man. It is what it is. You just got to keep on going, man. But like I said, it's easy for people to get on social media and make jokes and type this and that. But when you in front of like a live camera and you gotta really make something happen, it's a different ball game, man. Yeah, it's a lot to it, man. That's why I take my time, and I do a lot of preparation, man. That's why I said I had to get to a point where I had to like rest for a minute, because I was so on go and so locked in. Like, I was thankful for everybody that came on, man, but it took a lot out of me, man, because like I said, I was doing everything. The setting up the interviews, the traveling, the editing, every single thing that went into it. It's a lot. And I didn't feel comfortable charging nobody or trying to make money off of it in the beginning anyway, because I wanted to make sure my product was where it needed to be.
You wanted the experience. Right? Yeah,
before, because I don't believe, especially when your name on something, like, you don't want to give nobody nothing janky, man. And then they're like, man, this dude took my money. It ain't even worth what he putting out. Right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's a lot to it. You got to just stay committed to the craft. But you're on the right track, man. Like I said, like, some people might come out with a few episodes, think everything going cool, and then when they don't get the views they want, or they ain't making no money off of it, they gonna cave. Like, they gonna fold, and that's gonna be a wrap. But man, I love it for what it is, right. Man. I love building with people and like sharing information. I love taking in information. It'll go both ways, man. But it depends. Like, I've seen some interviews, like, I could tell, like, I don't want to be negative, but I could tell, like, people will post that they doing a podcast, which is cool. I ain't knocking that at all. It's like, I could just tell, like, if they got multiple team members, like multiple people on their panel, they gonna have a hard time with it, simply because everybody's schedule gonna be different. Like, this person might want to record on Tuesday, they might want to record on Wednesday, they might want to record on Thursday, and they work schedule, everybody's schedule's not going live. So it's hard. So that's another reason, like I said, that's why I kind of had to do my own thing. You would love to have a team member with you, but it get to the point, man, like,
you still need to put out content.
Still need to put out your content. And I was like, I didn't want to put my dreams in somebody else's hand. Like, this is what I know I want to do. Like, I have a passion for it. I'm driven to do this. They might not be as passionate as me, so I don't want to, put it on, be relying on them. And that's something I ran into early as well. Like, I would be ready to record something, but I didn't have a camera guy. So I'm like, dang, man, well, I got to check with this person that I'm interviewing, make sure they're going to be available this day, so they cool. They can do the interview. Now my cameraman can't do it. So now I got to do all this. Yeah, it's too much. And it's like, man, I'm put my dreams on hold because somebody else can't make it. So I was like, man, I can't do that, man. If I'm going to do this, I'd love to have somebody with me, but regardless, if not, I know I can do it myself, man.
Especially with you wanting to do in-person interviews. I don't want to do a virtual interview. Nope. Like you said, there's certain instances where you don't have no choice but to do it, like the Reebok interview.
That's the only one I did online. The only one. And just because who he is, he was over in France. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, exactly. This man, 85,
I ain't going to France, so this is the next best thing.
Yeah,
but I prefer that in-person interview over anything.
Yeah, I don't even I watch a lot of interviews, and I get I watch a lot of interviews on Breakfast Club, but if it's when the pandemic first happened and people were doing it over Zoom, I can't watch it. I like face-to-face interaction, man. It's not the same when people talking over. That's why even with the tour, I'm like, man, I'll pull up.
Right.
That's why I'm so glad you ain't tell me, man. Like, we could do it over. I'm like, man, I don't know. I gotta be face-to-face.
Well, one thing that I've learned that I gotta ask that question, like when I hit people up, are you comfortable with an in-person interview? Yeah. That happened to me one time where actually it's a young lady that lived like 2 minutes away from me, and we was going through the process, and I was like, well, are you more comfortable shooting it at home? And then she wanted to bring up StreamYard, and I was like, no, this is an in-person interview.
Exactly, yeah.
And we ended up not being able to work together just for that. Unfortunately, I feel like she would be really good for the podcast, but at the same time, I don't want my brand to suffer just because of one person.
Understand your value and what you bring to the table, man. And I actually had this happen last year, man. I was about to settle for once. Then I told myself, man, I put too much work into it. So I was talking about doing this interview. I can't say this person's name. And very successful. And I was like, man, would you be willing to do an interview? This person was like, yeah, that's cool. And we was talking about everything, figured out the time and the day and everything. So I thought this person knew it was going to be face-to-face.
Right.
And then they was like, I could do it online. And that's cool. I was like, all right, well, I do this interview. That's cool. And then it was like, I can give you about 15, 20 minutes. So at first I was like, man, I really want to do this interview. So all right, that's cool. So then I sat back and I told myself, man, I put in too much work. I take my craft too serious. I don't want to do this for no 15, 20 minutes. We're just getting started.
Right.
So I just told the person, hey, man, I appreciate the opportunity, but I ain't going to be able to do it. I'm going to just have to respectfully decline the interview. And then they was cool with it.
Right.
But don't sell yourself short, man, just because somebody else don't want to be a part of it. I mean, it is what it is, man. So many things going to happen, man, but do it the way you want to do it, and don't sell yourself short, man. I'll tell anybody. Whatever you're doing, but especially, like I said, since we in this space, man, don't do it. If they tell you they can only come for 15, 20 minutes, but you want to have a real, genuine conversation, man, you might just have to. I just catch you whenever you have time, man. Like we'll chop it up.
See other people coming through, having good conversations, they'll come back on.
Exactly, that's how it is, man. But don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, it's just like you got to do things your way, and if it works out, then that makes it sweeter. But even if in the L, at least it was on your terms. You know, that's a big thing for me. It's like if you're gonna do it to the fullest extent. And, just if you got to change a few things, change a few things.
Yeah. Man, I'll tell you another interview. I said I ain't never had a platform where nobody told me to come on and share the stuff. So I had another interview. Dominique might remember this. Probably one of the interviews I said I might regret. I don't want to say regret, but I probably wish I would have did later. was probably I interviewed Desi Banks, and Desi, it ain't nothing against Desi. Desi was super cool, professional, everything. Yeah. It was just the variables that happened with it. So, like, his manager had hit me up. Like, I had been reached out to him like way ahead of time about doing an interview. He said Desi would be cool to do an interview. So then later on, I reached back out. They stayed in touch or whatnot, and then I was like, yeah, he could still do it. And then what happened was, like, they hit me back like the day before they wanted to do the interview. So I had to work the next day. So I was like, man, this is Desi, man. Hell of a decision. Yeah, I was like, and for me, I was like, man, I don't care about this job anyway. Right. So, but it was just like, man. So I was telling my daughter's mom, like, man, Desi want to do an interview tomorrow. And she's like, that's so soon. You sure you gonna do it? So then me and her got into it. I'm like, man, I gotta go do this, man. I ain't about to let nothing stop my dream. Like, we just getting into it. And I mean, she supported me now. Right. Like, she was gonna support me whatever. Like, she gonna ride for me. And so then we get down to the next day. The building we used, man, they was painting in there, so the studio was messed up. And so I had to pay to use that building. Had to pay Dominique because he had to take his time. I don't mind because I appreciate him having the time to do it. I paid Dominique, had to pay a fee for the building, and then the paint and stuff was in there. And then just getting into it with my daughter's mom. So all of that stuff, I got the interview, but it's like overall, man, after I did it, like I just didn't feel good about it. Right. Because it was just like
you had to go through so much.
I had to go through so much.
But you got it though.
I got it. Yeah. But it's like I went through so much to get it done, man, and just I didn't feel good about it. Like it wasn't Desi at all. Desi was super cool, professional. Yeah. Like he was funny, man, like everything. It was just the stuff that went into it, man. Like don't put yourself in that position where you feel like a lot of pressure to like you got to compromise yourself or your people, your happiness to get an interview done. That's one thing. That's something else I learned too, man. Like you got to learn, man. Like that's what I said. As you keep on going, you're gonna learn stuff, man. Like it was just so much into it. Like I came back home that day, I was just like, man, dang, man. Like I mean, it's like one of those things. Like you don't know when it's gonna come around again. But this was when Desi was. He probably had about over 1 million followers. There ain't nothing
so
like it.
He was just about to blow.
Yep. He probably had 1.2 or 3 somewhere around there. But yeah, he was talking about how he started on Vine. You remember Vine? That was yeah. He started on Vine, and I told him how I found him. I was at the radio station, and I had just got off. And you remember when Remy dropped Ether on Nicki. She rapped over Ether and this. So I seen it on Twitter trending. I was like, what the? So I listened to the song and then I was like, why is this, like all this stuff was trending? I listened to the song and then I seen a clip of Desi. He was on the porch and he made like a little skit talking about how Remy bodied her or whatever. And it was funny. I was like, man, this dude right here. So I started going back. You know how you find one person and you laugh at their stuff and you go stroll through their content. I saw that one, then I looked at it more and more, then I was like, man, let me see if I can reach out to him. Not knowing somebody's going to respond, I reached out when his people hit me back. So then that's how that whole thing happened. And then stayed in touch. And then when that moment finally came, it was kind of like last minute. And then, like I said, the variables around it is what made me like, dang, man, I wish I would have try to like do this at another time because I just didn't feel good about it. Like everything, I was happy that I got it done, and it's a good look, right? But it was just like, man, was it really worth going through all that and getting into it, man, with somebody you love? Like, man, I was like, I don't know, but like I said, you just live and learn, man.
It's a part of the process.
Everything part of the process, man.
Part of the process.
Yeah, it's dope though, man. But I like I said, I love the space, man. Like I said, I'm about to start back recording again anyway because I got some people that reached out to me, man. But you gotta get Ben on too.
I was about to say that. I was like, he gonna be on.
I'm probably have him back on again too. He got the Men of Vision Summit next month. Yeah, March 19th.
To be fair, I don't even think I follow Ben.
Yeah, he ain't really been as active online lately because he been like grinding, like really putting in a lot of work, like out here making moves. Like he ain't just on social media posting. Like he living this glamorous life. Like he really out there putting in the work. That's another thing that I don't really like about social media either. Like so many entrepreneurs post like this glamorous life.
They're not really living.
Yeah, they're not really living, or they don't show you the stuff that they really go through. They make it look like everything is just peaches and cream, and like they just winning all the time. Like, no, man, like
it's L's in there.
It's L's. Yeah, big time. Yeah, like man, I done spent a lot of money doing what I'm doing, and things didn't turn out the way I wanted to turn out. Man, like the expectation. But like, if you look at social media, that's another thing. It'll make you feel like, dang, man, if I can get to where they at, then I'm good. Or once I get them on, then I'm good. Like, no, man, like, be happy where you at. And don't worry about, I'm telling, because these people posting this stuff like they really living this glamorous life, it's a whole nother story.
Or even in the instance of seeing somebody like a Skip or a Shannon and thinking that you could do that, not realizing that they've been doing this, well, in Skip's case, for years. You 20, 30 years in the game.
Like 70 years old.
He been
like
20, 30 years in the game before he was at that point.
Yeah. But see, I used to think like that. Like when I saw them, when I was at Upstate and I seen Skip and Stephen A on TV, I was like, man, I can do that.
Yeah.
But not realizing the work that they put in to get to where they at, man. Like I was the same way. Like, no, it just don't happen overnight. Like it's a grind, man. People put in the work, but that's the one thing I hate about social media is a lot of people, like some people do, they'll share their story, but some people just post this glamorous life like they just really just getting wins, like no losses at all. And it's dangerous because, man, now you making other people, well, it's not them, it's people just feel like they have to do so much to get to where they are, these other people are, and they putting so much pressure on themselves to get to that level. But don't realize these people got stuff that they go through and still going through to maintain. And a lot of them, man, they feel like they putting pressure on themselves because they got to put on this persona online that they got to keep on putting on this front like they really
got. I mean, just because you experiencing success, they got goals too that they want new levels that they want to hit.
Exactly.
So just because we put them here, they want to be here. You know, so it's a lot that goes into it. Especially when you talk about success, you gotta find out what success looks like for you, because it might not be what you think.
It's all subjective, man. It's all subjective. I've seen two definitions of success that I thought was dope. I got a book from John C. Maxwell. It's about leadership. And he said success is a journey, which it really is. And then the other one that I got was from a book from Dr. Lakeisha Hallman, who owns the Village Market, and it said the definition of success is because you live, it made somebody else's life easier, knowing that you were able to show them the way and be a guiding hand for them, you know, to do what they want to do and be able to give them advice or just pave the way for these people. So I love that definition of success, because you live somebody else, it made life easier for somebody else, man. I thought that was dope. But yeah, man, it just, just people, man, just stay encouraged, man. Keep your head up. Understand, like, as much as I've been to these different places or interviewed these entrepreneurs, I'm going through the same journey that y'all going through. I still work my 9 to 5 right now. Like, I ain't gonna put on no front. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, I'm just living this glamorous life. I'm still going through the process, even though I'm making that transition from 9 to 5 to doing my own thing. Like, I'm still in the grind just like everybody else, man. So don't let people put on that front online like it's just this glamorous life and it's something wrong with working a 9 to 5, because it's not. Like, you can work a 9 to 5, pay your bills, and still chase your dream. So you just gotta figure out a way to do both and make that pivot. And it's gonna be a point in time with a leap of faith, like everybody tells me. But don't let people tell you that if you losing if you working a 9 to 5.
Right.
Even let me say this, and I'm gonna get up out of here, man, 'cause I know you gotta go. Even when I sat down with, I'm just telling about these interviews. Even the one I did with Shannon McCullum, that's Lil Yachty's dad. He good. Like, if he don't want to work, Yachty gonna make sure his dad's straight. But even Shannon was like, well, he said he didn't want Yachty to work a 9 to 5 because it might stunt his creativity, because he saw what his son could be early on. He thought he was gonna be into fashion. He didn't think about being a rapper. But he was like, man, ain't nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. He's like, man, I still work a 9 to 5. He said, I travel. He said, I work, I think he worked at Delta Airlines through the week. And then on weekends, like, that's when he uses his time to travel. Because he's a photographer for D.L. Hughley and George Lopez. They've been on tour with Shannon, Cedric, the Entertainer, like all those guys. Like, he's been on tour with all of them. Mm-hmm. And he said, man, ain't nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. I still got mine, you know. So that was like, somebody like that, he can work a 9 to 5. Why we can't? And even these other guys, D.L. Hughley, he work on he on radio. Steve Harvey on radio. So they still have different jobs that they do, even though they're at a different level of success. So it's like, man, people got to get out of that mindset of like, if you work a 9 to 5, or you got a job, or you work for somebody else, that you losing. Nah, that ain't the case.
Nah, I think it's more so doing what you love. Because if you love it, then it becomes less and less like a job.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, we all need money to survive.
Yep.
We all need to be able to make enough money, not only to pay what's now, but to live off of when you don't feel like working no more. Because some people work themselves to the bone. You end up elderly with not enough income. You know, so like you said, it's important to find out what your passion is. The earlier, the better. And if you truly love what you do it till you can't no more.
Exactly. Man, there's so many people, man, like they just wake up and just... I remember I was at work one day and this lady, she's had been there for 20 plus years. And she was like, they gave her a pen and told her congratulations. And she said, she told them for what, man? She said, my body broke down, I'm hurting, and I just get a pen. She was like... So when I hear that stuff, in my mind, it's like, okay, man, I can't... I take all this stuff in for a reason, man. And it's like, man, I don't want to be that way. Yeah, I'm thankful to have a job, but at the same time, man, like, I got to figure out what I want to do. And if you feel like you wake up in the morning, man, I see so many people, and you see this all the time, too. You get on Facebook or whatever, and somebody's saying, who hiring? Who hiring? Like, man, just, you see that so many times people say, this job ain't it. It got to be more to life. And when you tell yourself it got to be more to life, because it is. It really is, man. And you got to really figure out what it is that you want to do, and just don't settle for like that paycheck, man. Like, be thankful that you have a job, but still do something that you want to do that's fulfilling, man.
Yep.
But so many times now, we just settle. Especially if somebody tell you, like I hear this all the time, man. You got a good job, you got great benefits, you should stay there. And when you hear stuff like that, you be like, man. A lot of times you be like, man, this person might be right, man. I got a good job. I'm cool. And a lot of times, some people, man, like they settle for that 9 to 5 and working Monday through Friday, having weekends off, just Saturday, Sunday. And they cool with it. And there's nothing wrong with it.
If you happy, keep on doing it.
Exactly.
But if you ain't, change.
Like one of the craziest things I heard, good dude, man, super good dude. And we tried to tell him probably about a week or two ago. Working with us, but he's super tech savvy, and he loved doing this stuff. And he was like, man, I get a job at Apple or something, but if I do, then I won't get my weekends off. I was like, think about what you're saying, though. You're going to compromise your happiness and doing something that you love doing just because you might have to work on weekends. So what, man? If it's something that you love doing, it ain't going to feel like work when you go in on the weekend anyway. So it's like, why... Like I said, we settle for like the little things that a job might give us, like a weekend off or like every weekend off or something, and just settle for that instead of going after something that we really love doing, man. We really got to stop selling ourselves short, man, or just settling and just.
Well, it's fear a lot of the time.
Fear.
It's easier said than done to take that leap of faith, but
it is.
It's hard. It's real hard to take a leap of faith. Some people are forced into it, but if you like, I can use me for instance. The job I'm working now, I just started a new position really. 5 years prior, I was working still at the University of South Carolina in the testing center. That 5-year period for me was great because I had a lot of flexibility. The pay was good, benefits, all that, weekends off, everything that you would want out of a job, I had in that particular space. And it's easy to get comfortable with that. I feel as though I didn't really appreciate what the job gave me besides the money, because with that free time that I had, I was able to, start businesses and travel, be with family. Long story short, that place got shut down December, and I'm still working for USC, but now my flexibility went down. I probably lost about 20 hours of my time that I usually had throughout the week.
Right.
And working how I'm working now, I often just think about, damn man, I really did waste a good opportunity that I probably should have been working on an exit plan instead of just trying to milk a job for everything that it was. And just I didn't really appreciate the moment as much as I should have. And it really makes me appreciate it now because I realize all the time that I had, and I just got to make it happen with less time. That's all.
And sometimes when you got to put your back against the wall, man, that's when sometimes you need that extra motivation. Like, man, like you said, you might have took that for granted, but now that you got less time, it's like, man, now I really got to figure out what I don't like doing what I'm doing now. So now I'm definitely gonna figure out a way to get to that other side and do what I want to do. Sometimes you need that push, man. Like I said, when I was working them 2 jobs, that's what really made me feel like, man, I just feel like a robot and I'm doing the same thing every single day over and over. And I was just like, man, nah, I can't live like this, man. Like I got to figure something out. And man, I finally got to a point where I quit, went home and started writing my book. I was still doing my interviews, but I was like, man, I can't live this way. Not working 2 jobs and missing time with my kids, not being able to take them to school in the mornings. Like it's just so much stuff, man, that you realize, man. Like I said, like we take that stuff for granted, man, and like because we think it's always gonna be there forever, and man, you never know when they don't work that way. Yeah, your kids gonna get older, things happen, life just happen, man.
Might get sick. Never know.
Yeah. And that's why I said that book, Tuesday with Maury, was so important, man, because he really broke down, like, he was a professor. He's like, man, it's so many things that we take for granted and we just settle for in life because we think that's how life's supposed to be. Even to the point where he knew he was going to die, he said, you never realize, like, even simple things like wiping yourself. He was like, it got to a point because he had ALS that it just kept moving up his body. He couldn't walk and he couldn't lift his arms. He couldn't wipe himself. He had to do all the stuff for himself. He's like, so much of that stuff, man, we just take for granted because we automatically expect to do the stuff that we just, just don't even think about it and just think we're gonna always be able to do it, man. But it took him. He said, even on his dying bed, even though I'm dying, I'm still living better than some people because they still suffer.
Right.
And he said that because he was comfortable with where he was at, and he could still see how people was living in fear and not jumping on the other side and doing what they want to do because they were so afraid. Right. Even though he was on his dying bed, he said he was still living better than a lot of people because they were afraid to die and take chances anyway. So, but yeah, man, this was dope, man. Like, I ain't gonna hold you up, man.
Hey, man, you ain't holding me up. This is content.
Yeah, this definitely, most definitely, man. But I had a good time, man.
I can't wait to come on your platform. We can chop it up some more.
Yeah, most definitely, man. We definitely gonna chop it up, man. I'm about to get back to it soon, man. Like I said, I'm working on some stuff, brainstorming, writing down my ideas, man. Ready to get back into it, man. Because like I said, I had a good break, man. But this definitely got me back going too.
Ain't nothing like create.
It ain't, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just that being in that creative space, man. Like we get so many ideas, and I just love doing it, man. Like I mean, I know it might not be for everybody, but just being able to reach so many people, man, and then when people reach out that you don't even know watching, man, it's a good feeling, man, when you can just help inspire somebody.
Right.
No matter how many people, even if you can reach one person, man, and encourage them and inspire them to do what they want to do, man, like that's a blessing in itself already.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we definitely gotta do this again. Can't wait. We're gonna have more to talk about, more accomplishments. But this has been another episode of the Too Stubborn to Fail podcast.
Dang, we're gonna look back on this, man, and just like, dang, we really talked about this stuff, and then we're gonna look back and just see where we at. Like I thought about that during the Super Bowl. I know we're about to wrap it up, man. But like I thought about that during the Super Bowl. Like when you see Mary and Snoop and Eminem and Dre and Kendrick, like all these people, like legends, like they put in all that work, and now they on this big stage, but they can look back and like, man, they accomplished all this stuff over their journey, man. Like life is really a journey, man. And to see how they started to where they at now, that was like, man, we gonna look back at where we are now.
I thought I was the only one that thought about like my childhood when I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it was the best Super Bowl show ever.
I thought it was dope.
But I did enjoy it a whole lot. And just like you said, just seeing all the legends
on one stage.
You know where their career came from. Don't like how people did 50 Cent.
That was hilarious. Hey, Snoop,
that was funny.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't like he was fat. He's just bigger than he was when the song came out.
50 a businessman too, man. Like 50 super sad.
Oh yeah.
And he getting a lot
of books too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hustle Hard, Hustle Smart. That was a dope book, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he employing a lot of people, man. Like I can salute somebody like a businessman, and he giving a lot of people the opportunities to do their dreams, man. That's what's so a special thing about following your gift and your passion, man. It's like it opened up doors to do other things. Like 50 was a rapper, but now he's a producer. He's just a business mogul. And it's like from one thing, and it just branched out. And even you see all these
that he put out fire.
It is, and that's the same way with everybody, man. Like some people might start off as a music artist or whatever, then they get into producing. Even LeBron, they transition to do different things. So everybody start off with one thing. And then over time, they just transform and do other things.
Because there might be some generations that don't even know that 50 was a rapper.
Exactly. Like the younger generation,
or like Ice-T or LL Cool J, because they all was able to pick The Rock. Might not know he was a wrestler.
Exactly.
But, it's all about putting yourself in a position to grab that next level.
But that gift, it just opened up more and more doors and other opportunities for you, man. So that's why it's so special and important to go after your dreams and goals, man, because if not, then you're just going to get stagnant. And then you're going to look at these other people who might have been right where you were, but because they went after their goals, now they in a whole different place in life. Just being consistent and going after their dream. Not saying it was easy for them, but because they were staying consistent and passionate about what they were doing, and they stuck with it, they somewhere else in life and doing the things that they want to do and just all by believing in themselves and never giving up. Yep.
Man, like you said, we could talk all day about this.
Man,
I really can. Man. We might need to come out with a podcast. Just a whole nother podcast on it.
This is super dope, man. Like I said, I like having these conversations with people, man. Like I'm always fascinated about what makes somebody tick and do the thing that they're doing. And what drives them, like, what's their thought process when they're going through things? Like, how do they react to certain situations when it doesn't go their way? How do they respond to it? Or do they have these moments where they knew they had to keep on going? Like, how do you know when it's time to step out on faith? How do you know when something happens with your family? How do you react to that? Or, you didn't get that opportunity you wanted, or if you do get the opportunity you wanted and it still doesn't give you that fulfillment. Like I like knowing all this type of stuff that somebody's thinking about because it's just something about it, man. Because I just like what makes these people so great. Like what is it that makes them tick in the morning? Like their routines, everything that they're doing. I like to know this type of stuff, man, because to me it's just fascinating. Because at the end of the day, they're human,
right? Just
like us. They just were so determined and driven on whatever they were and passionate about it that they didn't settle. And I just like learning that type of stuff, man. Just me personally.
And just learning more about people. Like, you and I knew of each other, but we never got a chance to have a conversation.
Right. This is probably the longest we ever sat down and had a conversation.
Most definitely.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, I enjoyed this whole thing, man. Like I said, I think people going to really get out of this, man. I try to add value because I seen everybody else adding value to the podcast, definitely, man. So I was ready to come up here. And, man, I enjoyed this, man.
You definitely didn't disappoint.
This was dope, man. Most definitely.
You definitely didn't disappoint. Like I said, I can't wait to have you back. Maybe we could do something on your platform.
Most definitely, man. Yeah, we're definitely going to do something, man. Yeah. And anytime you need any type of advice about editing or whatever, man, just hit me up, man. You got my number, so we'll definitely chop it up, man. Okay, cool. But like I'm all about, I don't want to be the type of person that just hold in information and not tell anybody. That's why I was like sharing books or whatever it is, man. I don't want to be that type of person. And yes, you need to make money, but I don't feel like you got to always charge people for every single thing that you're doing. Right. And stuff like that, man. Like, if somebody needs some help with something simple like that, man, like, I'm all for helping them out.
Yep. I'm the same way. It's not like I'm super knowledgeable, but it's somebody who is looking at me and wanting to know how I got to where I got to. So, you know, I'm happy to reach out.
Man, I'm still learning. Yeah. Like, everything that I've done, I'm still learning. Yeah. Like, I'm just the podcast space is still new. Yeah. Like, everybody's still figuring out what they want to do, man, and everything. Like, some people may take off first, but everybody's still learning, man. Right. Like, I just look at it like, okay, they in the space, I'm in the space. They ain't no better than me. They human, just like me.
It's just evidence that it can happen for you.
Yep, it's just evidence, man. You just got to keep on grinding, and you never know, that one yes might be the biggest opportunity of your life, man. And I truly believe it's coming for both of us, man. We just got to keep on grinding, man. But, like, I just love it. I love the craft, man. Like, I watch more interviews than I do actual TV shows and stuff like that. Like,
especially podcasts. It's so much content out there for you, anybody, to consume that. I mean, TV just is always gonna be there. It's not the same. It's just not the same, and it's so much positive stuff on there that you can watch. The podcast space has grown tremendously, even from the time that you started doing it in the past. You said 5 years? You've been doing it?
2018. 2018.
Yep. So, I mean, in that time to now, like, the podcast game is taking off crazy. So
yeah, it is,
it's
man.
only gonna get bigger.
Yeah, it's dope. Like I said, I like this more than just actual, like, generic interviews, because they ask the same question. And you just get this PC stuff. Like even like, I watch Drink Champs too, and I enjoyed Alicia Keys' interview just simply because she was like, that was the first time I got to see that side of her. Like, she was up there cool. Like, you would think somebody her stature wasn't as laid back. But it was just dope for me to see that different side of her and her personality, because, man, it was just like, she was up there drinking, taking shots with him, or she was smoking. Like, she was just like a regular, like, just chill female. Yeah. Like, it was dope to see that side of her, and we don't always get to see people like that, man. So that's why I like podcast. I prefer podcasts over, like, radio or TV show interviews and stuff like that, because you really get to see a real, authentic person. Right. That don't mean you can go in there and just talk reckless, because you can still have consequences. But I feel like you're more open to, you can be more of yourself on a podcast. So, and even now, you see your favorite athlete or artist, they got a podcast, or they go into somebody else's podcast. Like, podcasts just taking over, man. I just feel like traditional radio is it's a thing of the past. It's still a good space. Yep. But I feel like just more of, like, the podcast is where it's at, man.
And I look forward to seeing you grow. And
likewise, man.
What we can do in the future.
Yeah, man. We definitely going to do some big things, man. Oh, yeah. But I'm telling you, definitely going to have you on, man, so you can share your story. But I enjoyed this, man. Like, it was different being on the other side of the questions, man. Like I said, out of all the years, this is only the second time that I've been.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't put myself out there enough. Maybe people don't like to reach out. Like, it's some people that ask me about interview podcasts, how they start and stuff like that. I give them the information, like, stuff that I use. But I don't know, man. Like, this is only the second time. Now, I'm supposed to do another one sometime this month with my guy Jeff. Waiting to hear back from him, but I told him, like, whenever he ready, I'm ready. So, but yeah, I'm getting ready to make another great run again this year, man. But it's definitely gonna be a good year for both of us, man. Great year for both of us. There's gonna be some big things in store, man.
I can't wait.
But just know I'm definitely watching, man. Like, I like the content. I look like how everybody coming on, just adding value and information, and I want to do the same thing, man. Any way I could help, and just let me know. But I definitely had to come pull up, man. This was fun, man.
Yeah, it was. All right, so it's been another dope interview for the Two Stubborn to Fail podcast. We had Carlos Smith on. I'm Darren Perkins, and I am Too Stubborn to Fail.